Hello, everybody. Hi, good to see you. I'm doing a class today on earthquake preparedness. So, we're going to go over just a couple of things. Kind of the most important things. I know we've done this before, but it's for safety training, and so it's important that we do it. And it's really important that we make sure we stay safe. Earthquakes can be devastating. Um, and California is prone to have a big one at some point. Knock on wood that it's no time soon, or that it's just a bunch of small ones instead of a big one. Anyway, hopeful thinking. But I do want you to know what to do in situations. And so, first, I'm going to go over what you need to have ready and how to prepare for an earthquake. So, one thing is to be informed. Always be informed as to where you're going to go. Where your safety shelters are, where our evacuation points are, just in case we do live by water. So if there was a tsunami or anything like that, where are your tsunami outlets and things like that. And there's also some things you can get on your phone. If you would like them, let me know. It's called the Great Shakeout that California does. It was designed by a bunch of people, including Cal Berkeley, which basically will give you a few seconds before an earthquake might hit. So a few seconds means a lot in earthquake time because it's an emergency and it can be a little scary. But this is how we prepare. So this is preparing makes people either with disabilities or not, successful and stay alive and stay safe and with less injuries during an earthquake of such. So number one, get a kit. So I'm going to go over some basic supplies that you should have in your kit always. One is water. You should have 1 gallon of water per person per day for at least 3 days. You should have food. At least 3 days supply of non-perishable food that a can opener if a kit contains canned food. Batteries are very important to have. A flashlight and extra batteries. First aid kit. Whistle to signal for help. A dust mask. Moist towelettes. Local maps, and if you have a pet food would be very good. And so those are just some basic things that you want to make sure you have: water, food, first aid kit, of course. And always make sure that with your family, make sure that you have at least half a tank of gas in your car at all times. If you need to get somewhere that's safer eventually, and you don't have any gas in your car and there's no gas left, you're not going to get very far. So it's best to always just pretend that once it's getting close to half a tank, that means empty in your car. And you can notice the gauge on certain things to say, hey, it looks like it's getting empty here. So also make a plan. That's number 2, is to make a plan. What would you do if this happens? What is your plan? How are you going to get through this? So you should make a plan. Number 1, create a personal support network. So if you participate needing assistance during a disaster, make sure you have I apologize. Spam risk. Make sure you have a plan with your family. If you don't have family, with your friends. And if you don't have friends, then call your local police department, your fire department, things like that. But most people have family and friends. Also talk to your program, like what could we do to help? And and I'm sure that we would have an idea as well. I mean, I can tell you right now that if you called me and I was close and I could pick you up, and for some reason, but here's the thing. If it's just you and something happened to your support system and I could help just you, yes. If your family has a plan and you just want to come with me instead of your family, don't rely on that, because I'm going to be taking care of my thing. But at the same time, eventually I would call all of you. Once things settle down, I would call everybody in my group to make sure that you're all okay and to see where you're at. That is an important thing. So make a plan and have it create a support system. Know that you can call me, but wait till things have calmed down and make sure you have a plan with your family. Develop a family communication plan. So your family may not be together when a disaster happens. So what's a family communication plan? Call them and always have a place to meet up. Say, like say if you're typically home, say should I stay home and that's our meeting up place? What if it's not home? What's the closest community center that you could find? Things like that. Where are we gonna meet? How will I get there? And be on the phone. And that's another thing. Just like gas in your car, make sure that your phone is always charged. I know that people use their phone, and all the time people come into program and they're like, DJ, I need to plug my phone into the charger here because it's gonna die. Well, that's your responsibility. Get one of those things. There's some people that are very responsible, and they have the little things that the battery charger, but that's up to you. You got to pretend, oh, my phone's down to halfway. I need to charge my phone because you're gonna need that in an emergency. And if you don't have any power, then how are you gonna communicate? And what if all the power lines are down? Then you're not gonna be able to charge your phone. So make sure you have backups and things like that. Again, okay, so deciding to stay or to go. Do I stay home? Do we go somewhere else? But again, that's something you need to talk to your family about. Consider your service animal or pets. Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't know how many of you have pets, but I have emergency supplies ready for my dog, for Ani. I have everything ready to go. I have a bag so that everything just I can pick it up and I can go. And then I'm treating her like a human. I'm going to make sure that she has at least a gallon of water per day. And actually, what we're rationing is between all three of us to make sure that we have that much water. But we're only considering ourselves right now. And we do have an evacuation plan, but each house needs to take care of their house in terms of that. Staying put. Well, yeah, even if you have an evacuation plan, depending on what the earthquake does, sometimes even though you might have a plan, you might have to learn to ditch it and just say, it's safer here right now than it is for me. If there's a bunch of down power lines, things like that, it's better for me to stay here. Evacuation, and then there are also times maybe you have to consider that, oh, well, it's to stay home. But if your home's really not safe, it's a fire or something like that, you're going to have to evacuate. So make sure you have at least one other place to go. So fire safety, we've gone over that. What to do in case of a fire. So remember all that fire drills. What to do in case of a fire. And do you have everything you need? Do you have a fire extinguisher? Make sure you have one that's full, ready to go. And you should contact your local emergencies for information, and then also finances. That's true. It's good to have a source of money. But it is good to have a source of money as well in order to, you know, that's weird. But in order to, sorry, let's make sure because this is a weird piece of paper. But it's good to have money set aside and cash because you don't know, ATMs could be down, so your card might not work. So it's good to have some cash set aside somewhere in your house in a safe, hopefully. That would be the best place. So that you have that so you can take it with you so that if you do need to buy things, if you do need to get stuff, you don't have to rely on a card because people might not be accepting that at some places. So it's best to have a stash of cash somewhere in a safe in your house or in a safe place in your house so that that everybody knows where it is, and hopefully nobody's taking or skimming off the top because that's not cool. But yeah, so that's another thing to consider is finances. How are you going to pay for things for this short run? Eventually things will get back up and going, but look for the short run. Also, make sure you have medications and medical supplies. So that's your first aid kit. Make sure you have any medications people might need, but have together a first aid kit. Stuff with everything that you're going to need. If you're asthmatic, you have asthma, make sure you have extra canisters And that's the same with medications. Make sure that you have something that, even if it's not, let's say it's not over the counter, it's behind the counter, have something that will help in the interim that is over the counter that you can buy that's similar, but maybe not exactly the dosage or the kind of pill that your doctor recommends. Well, yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff. Anything you can think, but you also don't want to make anything too heavy. So blankets, things like that. You're gonna want that extra pair of clothes, but you're not gonna need a ton of clothes. But I would have durable clothes. Jeans are good. A nice warm jacket, maybe something like a parka. If it's raining or anything like that. That is something that's very important. All right. Now that we've gone over that part, sorry, I went a little fast, so you can always watch this again. It's only 11 minutes long so far. So, how to protect yourself in an earthquake. So, number one, if possible, drop, cover, and hold. So, first you're going to drop to the ground, protecting your head and your neck. Then you're going to find a table. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to simulate an earthquake. Get under that table, and then you're going to hold on to one of the legs of the table. That way, if the table moves, you move with it. And then if things are falling on it, at least you're still underneath it. And you want to bend over when you drop and cover so that you cover your internal organs as well. You're kind of, getting down and crouching and then just holding on really tight. That same if you're using a cane, drop, cover, and hold on. Maybe, but go down slowly with the cane. If you have a walker, you want to lock the walker, cover, and then hold on inside on the walker. And using a wheelchair, it's the same thing. Lock your wheels, cover, and hold on. But that's the most important thing. A few other things, if you're in a stadium or something like that, a movie theater or anything like that, you're going to want to just get down by the seats if you can. Like on the ground, spread out if there's nobody in the theater. First drop, then you're going to cover, and then you're going to hold on to like a chair or something like that. If it's a packed place, then you're just going to drop and cover in your chair and stay like that until it's safe. I think some other scenarios. If you're at the grocery store, good thing to have is if you have a shopping cart, duck, cover under that and hold on to that. Standing up, you don't want to like dump it on you. I mean, I guess you could turn it over on its side and then just kind of get in there and hold on. But you want something to be protecting your head, mostly. The more you can protect, the better. But you do want to stay away from open windows, things like that, because that's going to shatter and shoot right out. So a wall, like away from a window, is good. Don't go up next to a wall. But if you're in a place like this, you just want to get right next to a wall and duck and cover if there were no tables or anything like that for you to get under. That's what you would want to do. If you're driving or in a car, same thing. You're going to want to pull off to the side of the road if you're driving. If you're not, though, ask the driver to pull over. One thing you can do as a passenger is if you notice signs shaking, other people around you ducking and covering and holding, then what you're going to want to do is say, hey, this isn't a flat tire. Sometimes that's what it'll feel like when you're driving. Say, no, this is actually an earthquake. So you want to pull over and get in the seat and just duck and cover in your seat. Don't get out of the car. So I hope this has been helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. I did go over it a little fast. Like I said, you can always refer to this video again, or I can send you out some of the information. Anyway, peace and be safe out there. I trust you. All right, bye.